How's it going, people? How is everybody doing? My setup is a little bit all janky because my cat came over and kind of moved some stuff around accidentally, but we're here. We're here. We're here to talk about, chit chat, see how everyone's doing, talk about some feelings. Yi is definitely right, awkward majority. It's exactly how I feel also. I appreciate you guys that are tuning in from Twitch and YouTube. Even though the counters are both wrong on both platforms, we just ignore that, Psh. And the fact that they're talking and it's not popping up in the chat box, potato. Am I right? That's not. I mean, more important is we're having fun, right? Oh, there it is. Now you're popping up there. I see the ha ha ha. Now we're working. But how is everybody doing between Twitch, YouTube, as people trickle in? How was your guys' Tuesday? You guys happy to be back to work? Have you guys been working this whole weekend? How are things going? And I don't have anything specific planned. But, it doesn't mean that we can't do, anything. How's it going, K-Pro? Happy holidays to you. Playing healer on EU, grind is real. Just got back from a 9-hour drive from Fam Jam in Ottawa. That sounds horrible. I don't think I could drive 9 hours. I've driven, I think my record is probably 12 hours, and I wanted to blow my brains out. Mind you, that was the record. Behind that record was 5 hours, and I was even 5 hours of driving. I just lose my mind. But happy holidays to you too, K-Pro. So I didn't have anything specific that I kind of wanted to go over, but wanted to give you guys an opportunity to help me figure out what videos we wanted to produce. Kind of in this next week time period. Also what content you guys were looking forward to. I'm also very excited because they're going to be releasing here soon. The status for next year's updates, whether or not it's going to be confirmed. I believe they're going to confirm the class hopefully here in January, which will be very exciting, and I'll feel very vindicated about. But we'll see. We'll see what they end up doing. And then you can see that I got my guild trader back. I had to go check to see if anything good's listed. My cat is about ready to start knocking stuff over. What are you doing? Trying to knock into my stuff? What are you doing? What are you doing? He's ready to just start plowing through everything and just start causing mayhem. Let's see. I pretty much have most of this stuff. I always try to find items too that I don't already have, like these bracers, for example. I just don't have them, so I'm like, we'll snag them. So the guilds that I am currently in are... So I have these 4 Mournhold traders, Ashes, Vixens, Breaking the Wheel, Tamriel's Depot, and then I have my own guild, which is the Brick Squad. How's it going, Danny? I'm also trying to find a bot that will more easily show chat in between both things. Let me scoot this up a little bit. More easily show you guys like what Twitch is saying, and then Twitch can see what YouTube is saying, because I think it would just be helpful to know like what everyone's chit-chatting about. Oh my goodness, my cat is just knocking stuff over. Woo! As cats do, honestly. That's kind of their whole MO, isn't it? So the videos that I'm currently working on, just to give you guys a little bit of a insider scoop, is we're working on the How to Become the Emperor video. We're also working on a mementos video, top mementos that you can earn for free. Ones that look cool, maybe ones that even have purpose. Kind of figuring out which kind of way I want to go on that video, as well as a speed build. A fast way to run through, pick up things, and loot different items. I think a speed build is kind of highly underrated when it comes to build crafting, but I think that they're really helpful. Having a build that you could just rip and run around in, I think, is wholly helpful. So we're working on that also. But I need your guys' suggestions. What else should I be working on in this interim period here? I actually have off work next week, so it means next week could be a video every day if we really wanted, or it could be a stream every day, or streaming a video every day. It really depends on what you guys want. 24 hours of Telvar farming. No, Travis, we will not be doing 24 hours of Telvar farming. Could do housing tours. That would be fun. I'm also should say I'm not against farming Telvar. It's just it's painful. It hurts my soul. Adept Rider for training guild feels great. Yeah. So what I found when I was doing my expose for how to do a speed build, I found that like 90% of speed build combinations lead you to be at maximum speed. So then I started to think, well, what could give you a really good damage output and make you really fast? So I've been trying to balance those two things, because I think that will give us a very happy medium. Like, hey, not only can I do a lot of damage, but I can also, hit people very hard. You know what I mean? Or, I can do some other thing, as opposed to just run fast. I found that a lot of ways get you there. I need help with world bosses. I can't solo them. So, which zone are you in, Danny? Because, truthfully, there are some zones that I can't solo. Unfortunately. That's just kind of the way that it is. There are some zones, Murkmire especially, is absolutely horrific, but there are some zones that you should be able to, and if you kind of tweak your build, you probably will be able to. What I would say about being a solo player is the one thing that I think that usually gets overlooked is just have good buff food. Sorry, I gotta fix this guy's dues real quick. Always have good buff food. Do not be afraid to utilize potions. Most people think that potions are really just for end game type content, but I use them constantly. Halved valves. Did he get promoted? Am I blind? Where is he? I think I'm blind. I apologize. Am I like I'm getting punked? Oh, somebody got him. Or no. Somebody else said thank you. Sorry, I'm like trying to help this one out. Last was Clockwork City. Clockwork City is notoriously also difficult. Generally, a lot of the DLC zones can be pretty finicky. Just keep that in mind, because I don't want you to be discouraged, but there's a lot that I haven't been able to really do. James O'Keefe celebrates 6 months of membership. Evening, Jake. Hope you are enjoying the holidays. Thanks so much, James. I am currently making a fool of myself with trying to see if this guy's been promoted or not, and failing miserably because I feel like I'm reading his name wrong. Like K-pop said or K-Pro said, like Orzog's recipe is also very good. I personally just love Bewitched Sugar Skulls. I think they're cheap, effective, and almost universally amazing. What? Am I missing this man? I'm like crazy. Anywho, I'm just gonna kind of work on this. Halved Fool update, please. I'm like, did he leave? Where's his name on the roster? Am I looking in the wrong guild chat? I am just confused, but anyway, we'll continue. We'll proceed, regardless of my confusion. It's good to see you guys all again. Sorry it was a couple days without streaming. Oh, he is a traitor. It all got figured out. Thank the Lord. Bewitched Sugar Skulls for life. Exactly. I'll actually show you guys how much it takes to make Bewitched Sugar Skulls. Also, to whichever one of you savages absolutely donated to me crown crates and they just didn't say anything on stream, didn't send me a message, I appreciate you. If you're watching this live or you watched it previously, I have no idea who this person is. They just donated 4 crown crates so that they could get the tickets, and I'm like, oh, thank you, I appreciate it. What's your guild name in reference to I Thought of the Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan? Do you mean Breaking the Wheel? Because technically this is just one. I'm just one of the, yes, you would say, council members of Breaking the Wheel. I just help with, people making sure that their dues are up to date, and if they have questions about trading or anything, I can assist them with, help if there's any sort of drama. The Brick Squad, which is my actual guild, was more so just in reference to what my high school group of friends referred to each other during track and football practice, which sounds pretty silly, but I was 15. Some of you may think I look 15 right now, Let's see. But I'll show you Bewitched Sugar Skulls as well as some other ones. Also, Tri-Stat Potions I think are also really great. I'm searching by quest only, like a goober. So I generally think that Bewitched Sugar Skulls are the best because it doesn't really require anything that's super expensive. There's no perfect row. There's nothing like super expensive in here. I mean, compare it to like our Tam Takeaway Broth, which has Powdered Mother of Pearl, which are pretty expensive, and Clockwork Citrus Fillet, which have perfect row. And you can really see, even with Smoked Bear Haunch, requires perfect row. So that's where I'm kind of like, I lean really towards Bewitched Sugar Skulls just as a universal buff food. I put it on my PvE characters, PvP characters. It's just universally amazing. Even if I have a brand new character, I slap this bad boy over to him, because here's the thing, is that the higher your stats are, the more damage you do. So it's even helpful for like a level 3 to have more stamina, health, and magicka, because then they'll hit harder, you kill things easier, and life's a little bit easier, So that's just my suggestion for buff food. There's some okay drinks. Like I think that the Witch Mother's Potent Brew is pretty good for magicka users. Max magicka, and it gives you magicka recovery, is pretty neat, but you're not going to get that stamina. I sometimes will use this. Yes, Perfect Rose from fishing, and it usually costs a decent chunk of money. Spring Loaded Infusion is like the poor person's version of Bewitched Sugar Skulls. You got your Bloody Maras, which are pretty good. That's a lot of magic on health. The problem is you're not getting any recoveries, so most people don't really use that. Pack Leader's Bone Broth, again, it's like the opposite problem, where you're just getting stamina and health, and those are really the only ones that I would really suggest. Dubious Karn is kind of like Witch Mother's Potent Brew, but for stamina. You could certainly consider those things, but it's about how I would summarize it. The other thing, too, is don't forget that, like, potions can be very helpful. Like, using the Crown Fortifying Tri-Stats, very helpful. I have been stocking up on these things. This is probably one of the only things I don't deconstruct if I get it in a crown gem. I love these potions. I think they're super helpful, and they make doing content significantly easier because it essentially restores your stats and gives you extra recovery into all of them. So if you're, doing solo content, it can be very helpful. Because even if you're a Magicka character, you're still going to need to block, and you're still going to need to roll dodge, and you may even have stamina abilities. My PvE setup has stamina abilities, so it's really nice sometimes to get all three of those stats upped. How's it going on, Michael? The other thing too is like sometimes if you're doing more solo content, you can also build in a little more bulk. So like I always think of it kind of like if you're farming like a solo arena, a lot of times people will build in bulk, like through either their monster set or through a 5-piece set. So you could consider that too, being a little more bulky as opposed to just straight DPS. So what I'm referring to, BB, is not necessarily the traditional sense of deconstructing. When you open a crown gem, though, you can gem extract. And I do not gem extract those potions that I get from the crown gems. I actually have those crown crates to open from the person. I just feel a little bad about opening them because it feels almost sacred, to keep these. I was donated these crown crates. They didn't say anything to me. They were just like, sent me a little note that said Merry Christmas and then the gift, and I was like, oh, I appreciate you. Thanks for the follow, ESO old guy. Hopefully this stream can be helpful for you if you're watching along on Twitch. Because that's the whole goal. We don't do these flashy, trials or any of that crazy content on stream, probably because you'd listen to me yell my ass off at people. Or just deeply sigh the whole time, like, like every time we wipe, I'll just go, okay. I didn't want to, sleep and get up on time for work. Let's run the boss again. I have over 1,000 hours and never even touched crown crates or crown gems. So the other way too that you can get some of that stuff is with your Seals of Endeavor. Just as a quick side note, but if you guys have questions or things that you want to see, we can focus almost the whole stream on anything that you guys want help with or have questions about, or different pieces of information that I can work to assist you with. Because like I was saying before my tangent, I don't have anything super flashy planned, but I'm here with y'all. We can do whatever you guys want to do, whatever information you guys want to learn. We can learn together, or I could show you guys if I have suggestions for things that you guys need, suggestions for. Thanks for the follow above board. Solo RS WRS. And Exposed Kreen has subscribed tier 1. I appreciate you. Wayrest Sewers 1. Wayrest Sewers 1 is very difficult to solo due to the final boss. Why are you sorry, Jack? No, I'm sorry, you're fine. It's I thought for a second you meant world boss, and I was like world boss doesn't really have like an S at the end, but sorry, my brain is a little fried, but the final boss is going to be very tricky for you in Wayrest Sewers 2. The whole thing can be a little bit tricky. What I would suggest, honestly, is running it with a group. You can usually find people who are running it as a group just due to the fact that it has a really good monster set that's best in slot. So I would suggest trying to just, random queue for it. What is good to resell from the RIT vouchers? Good question, Danny. We'll head on over. Thank you again, by the way, Exposed Queen 96 for the tier 1 sub. We will head on over. I was like, where am I heading again? I have to my brain has to catch up with itself. Hell, the first boss of the Tentacles of Doom is ridiculous. And honestly, I know that there's a lot of solo builds out there and ways to do things on your own. And, we all want to be strong, independent people. But sometimes it's just easier to work as a team, I've sold several of the target dummies for hundreds of thousands. That's a really good tip too. There's about there's a couple different things that you can buy. I'm going to kind of go through the list of like what I would say is the easiest. Now, these gold recipes, I would avoid all of these. These, I actually suggest avoiding these also for the simple reason that if you're buying a gamble, essentially, so what does that mean? It means that a lot of these plans are old and they might not be worth a whole lot, and they usually don't sell very quickly. There's something about the housing market. Most endgame furnishing players will have the furniture they need within a few months of the furniture being released. So getting things that are old is generally not going to be very profitable for you. Now, these stations are okay to sell, but I don't really suggest these either. Usually I multi-device stream, one YouTube, another Twitch. Sorry, homie, worn out, new job, had me running through all the holiday. You don't have to worry, Michael. I appreciate you 100%, but you don't got to worry. The important thing is you're here, you know? Got to get a pen. So these, I generally suggest avoiding all these. The transmute station might be the only exception, but that depends a lot on your server, because if you're playing on console, it's actually cheaper to buy this for your writs. For crowns from a person who's like selling crowns than it is to buy it through writs. A lot of people are still looking to buy Telvanni plans, but you don't see many. I don't know why it like cut you off. I'm sorry, Queen. But you don't see many of them. That could be true too. I think what I would suggest is look at your specific server and see what your trade volume is for those items. Because it could depend too. As a console player, we don't have as many end-game furnitures, but I could see also if you play on PC, there's definitely going to be, more market for end-game players. How do you judge if a master writ is worth doing? Do you judge it based on the cost of the crafting material? Yes. It'll depend, unfortunately, a lot on the console you play on. What I would suggest is what I generally do when I go in is I have an idea of what writs I want to do. Because also, from my opinion, some writs are just annoying as hell. And I would rather do like one big jewelry writ versus many tiny other writs, even if they're easier or cheaper or, something like that too. So that also plays a factor. I'll touch upon more of that. Let me finish this here though real quick. If you don't have these, by the way, this is amazing. Extra bank space, or like bank, but what it really is, it's like almost something that you could set down in your house, and you can go in and you can, essentially take stuff out. It's like its own like little mini bank. These are amazing. I highly suggest you get these. You can also get these with Telvar or crowns, but this is an amazing item. Generally also skip these three things too. Sometimes diminished ethereal dust can have an okay market range, but no. Now we're starting to get into stuff that could be pretty good. These attunable stations are generally good, but there's a really important thing to note, though, about these. These are usually very good when you have a new zone storyline come out, or that, I should say, grants a new crafting station. So if a new crafted set comes out and a new zone's coming out, these things will skyrocket in value. Normally throughout the year, it's not nearly as good, unfortunately. So these are okay. Unfortunately, or perhaps fortunately, I think these are the best sellers. Now, I don't know why, but on Xbox, these things are rarely listed and sell very well. And I have a sneaking suspicion that it's because Xbox, like PlayStation, has a lot of newer players that need a lot of these things, but they probably just don't know that they exist or where they come from. So if you're watching this video right now, selling these speed ups is amazing. And how's it going, Lumby? I really encourage you guys, if you're looking for something to sell for your writs and you don't pick up just like 50 blacksmithing ones. Pick up like 10 blacksmithing, 10 clothing, and then 10 woodworking. Thanks for the subscribe with your Prime Crizolo. Sorry, I'm very terrible at names. So the attune stations are attuned to the specific craftable open world sets. Yes. That's how they're preset, basically. So when a new crafted set comes out, new, people will then need to attune it. Like Order's Wrath. Yes, exactly like Order's Wrath. I'm also sorry, Crislo. I completely butchered your name. How much should I sell for? What I would do, Danny, is just like pick up one of these. Say, for example, I was like, hey, I'm gonna grab one of these woodworking ones. This is exactly what I would do. You're in Mournhold right now. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go over. And I'll circle back to your question about writs there too. I forget where it pops up in your inventory. Just bear with me. Where are these little silly gooses? Is it here? Sorry, I have a terrible tendency to store my entire life inside of my inventory. There it is. And you're gonna hold X or whatever this button equivalent is on PlayStation. It's the one that's to the left. And this will actually, you can see, it searched for that specific item. You can also type it in, obviously, too. But you can see here, they're worth about 3,000 each. Now, what's really important to consider, though, is that they're selling them in stacks. You could probably sell them at a higher rate if you're selling them in less stack sizes. So generally, it's like going to Costco versus going to, to Walmart. Costco gives you more deal, but you got to buy more. Walmart, it's still cheap. It's about the same quality, but it's a little pricier, even though it's a cheap product, if that makes any type of sense. Like, it's equal product. They're both like cheap products because the bulk comes from Costco or Sam's Club. Walmart versus Sam's Club, same items, higher bulk gives you more of a discount. If you do all 7 Master Writs during double XP with Ethereal Ambrosia, it ends up giving you about 650k experience. That is a great XP crafting tip, James. It's expensive for the jewelry writs, though, about 15k for a rhodium, so it may not be worth it. I mean, you could still do the daily ones. That would be my kind of suggestion if you're looking at doing that. So this is what you're gonna do, Danny, is you just pick up one of them and then start searching it. So we only looked at one trader. I would do like a ring around, see. So you can see here people are selling it for like 2.8k. They've been listed for a little bit. So, if you were like looking to sell them pretty quickly, you could sell them for like 2.5, 2.8. If you're looking to keep them up and sell them, for as high as you could possibly get, you could probably throw them up for like 3k. Also, too, if you're like, hey, which one should I buy? Like, this is what I always encourage you guys is look, there might be 50,000 woodworking ones listed, but there might not be any blacksmithing ones listed. That's just how the market is. That's why it's so hard for me to just be like, oh, guys, do this. Because it's so relative, because, like, we just looked, for example, for woodworking. We could go switch to jewelry. Let's do that, actually. The listings might be completely different, and I guarantee they probably are in some capacity. I wonder if I could just type jewelry? I think it's called jewelry. I think is slightly named slightly differently. There we go. And you can actually see here these are worth significantly more, but you can see there's a bunch of them listed. I think they cost a little bit more writs too. I believe they cost more, but you can see that guild trader that had stacks of them listed, has significantly less of them listed in here. As long as you don't buy Walmart steaks, you should be fine. I used to buy Walmart steaks. Those are tough times back in the day. It's expensive for the jewelry writs. Yeah, a rhodium can cost a significant amount of money. And you made bank off of the Undaunted dailies. I love the Undaunted dailies. I think a lot of people don't farm the Undaunted dailies for money, and that kind of boggles my mind because I think that they're so profitable. I think that farming the Undaunted keys, let's go take a look at the Undaunted keys right now. We'll go talk about why that is. Are the event writs worth the crap? Yes and no. So the actual motifs and stuff that you get as a reward are okay. Let me ask you this, Michael. Do you have the skin? Because I love skins. So whenever you're able to get a skin by doing something like super easy, like 12 writs, I always do it. Always suggest it. Great to catch you live. Good to see you also, Norma. I'm also wondering that why on the chat, on the YouTube chat, you have like a normal smiley face, and then on the YouTube or on the actual overlay chat, it's like a red smiley face. Very odd. I'm not quite sure why it popped out that way. So most people do not know, but these coffers contain, pretty valuable rewards. I'm gonna see if there should be a shoulder listed in one of these little silly gooses. Here it is. So this, for example, is a shoulder. Now, most people think that if you have 50 keys, you can get this shoulder. And they are mathematically correct. However, you can also get this by rolling for these 1-key boxes, which is why you'll never see me have any Undaunted keys ever. Because I consistently roll for these, because I am addicted to rolling for this gold shoulder. Like, if you want to turn your Undaunted keys to gold, make sure that you see a style page for a shoulder, because you saw those other vendors didn't have it. And there's not always a shoulder listed. There's very rarely not a shoulder listed, but it'll circle through the different vendors. But what you'll do is you'll go and you'll buy this blue coffer. You also have a chance to get mercenary motifs, which also don't sleep on. The mercenary motive chest is like 500,000 gold. And a lot of the other mercenary motifs are also pretty oogles in value. So like, don't sleep on those. Got that quick, but have a stack of writs from the event. So there's some too that give you motifs. Those are usually worth doing, so, and you're getting something at the end that has, a little bit of value that's not costing you like a whole much, amount of resources. But then you could look at it, it still takes time. Is it worth farming your time to do those, Imperial Charity writs? Honestly, too, like after the event or before the next event, those writs will go back up in value. You used to be able to sell those for like 5,000 to 10,000 gold, so it could be worth it to just sell those writs as opposed to doing them. Back to the question about what writs I do. So let me go back to a vendor. We'll just look at some writs together and kind of go through that, because that's an interesting question. I once spent over 60 keys to get a Kleiner shoulder. It sounds like you may have terrible luck. This may sound pretty arrogant or snobby, but I've never spent more than 10 keys to get a shoulder, like the page. Now, I have been absolutely fisted when it comes to getting the shoulder that I needed, like an actual monster set shoulder. I don't know why ZeniMax did not want to give me the Swarm Mother's medium shoulder. It was such a simple, humble request. Simple and humble. All I wanted was the medium shoulder of Swarm Mothers, and they just kept giving me light, heavy, the other set. I was going for the 50-50. I had a 1 in 6 chance. I think I spent 80 keys. It absolutely hurt my soul. What race best fits Warden class lore-wise? That's a very interesting question. Because the Warden came out with the Morrowind DLC, so you could argue that it would be the Dark Elf, because that was who was in the trailer, was a Dark Elf. But then you think Nord, Warden, Ice Magic. What do you guys think? What race perfectly encapsulates the Warden? I would, I don't, it feels weird to say Dark Elf, because it just doesn't feel like that's correct. What do you guys think? That's a toughie. It is tough. I'm thinking about this to myself. Hello, Doc. An Orc Warden. Interesting idea. I mean, lore-wise, I'm just trying to think how an Orc Warden would fit. I mean, like... Dunmer or Wood Elf? Wood Elf is, when you think about how like in tune with nature a Warden is, it's a good shout. I almost think too you have to break between Mag Warden and Stam Warden. That might be a hot take, but I feel like it's almost different, because like a Mag Warden, I would never see a Wood Elf. You know what I mean? Like I could never see like a Wood Elf be, Magicka related. But you could see like a Stam Warden being a Wood Elf. In the same way, I kind of see a Nord more as a Mag Warden, but I could see them as a Stam Warden too. Dark Elves could be perfectly either or. Half of Hrothgar is snow and ice. That is very true, you know. That is true. I just don't see orcs as being the like in tune with nature and magic type class. And I guess that's the hard part because you kind of wardens are the, you know, the nature, you know, loving group of people who, you know, but then there's that magicka, you know, concept that's kind of tied into them also. That's where I just don't know, you know. Although I play a Khajiit Warden, so I could play through in another Alliance story. You mean, what's nice is now you can play through any Alliance story whenever you want. Let's take a look at some writs. I've, like, gotten derailed here. Dark Elves has a nature group. What am I looking at? So this is probably, like, what you see when you go in and you pick, like, hey, you know, what do I want to do? So let's just dissect these kind of as we go. I have a secret soft spot in my heart for doing cheap blue charity writs because you could pretty much get these. I'm sorry, jewelry writs, not charity writs. If that's what I said, my brain was having a synapses. I think that sealed crafting writs with jewelry are pretty good. This is a hot take. But I'm actually I kind of do, if I get one of these for free, now you have to look at the trait, because if the trait is like stupid expensive, you don't want to do it. You really want to try to get something that's like, you know, increased magic. Like you want like a healthy or, you know, something like, or arcane, you know, something that just increases your magicka stamina, you know, like one of the cheap traits. Best PvP sword, race sets, etc. I'll answer that question after I just kind of go through this super quick here. I got you. Stream's full of hot takes so far. Yeah. You guys should see how I was on Facebook last night where people were like, Jake, you're an idiot. And I was like, no, I'm not an idiot. I'm just theorizing what I think the class will be. I stand by my statements. These can also be pretty good too. You also have to kind of gauge like how expensive your specific writs are on your console. So, for example, this gold writ would cost me to upgrade to gold, but generally, pretty much every single trait minus Nernhold is super cheap. So on one hand, you're saving because you don't have to pay for like a dumb expensive jewelry trait, but you do have to upgrade to gold. But because botting is so bad on console, generally gold mats are pretty cheap. So in that situation, I usually just look for something juicy. Like here we got an Adept Rider, you know, writ voucher. That's something a little more, you know, it's got a little more oomph to it. I generally, if I'm doing writs, I try to get something that's going to last me for a little while. Gotta love it with when we have hot takes and wild tangents with Jake. I appreciate you, Norma. We got your back, Jake. I appreciate you, James. It's always, you know, whenever you put out a video like I did, you're always kind of bound to get, you know, feedback. People telling you you're an idiot. Like, for example, though, like, this is a very cheap writ. Like, unless you're trying to farm, like, enchanting writs to get yourself, like, the Grandmaster Crafter, I just don't do these. Same with, like, look how cheap these are. 100 gold. Oof, 600 gold. These things used to be worth 5 to 10k. If I had more inventory space, I'd almost be half tempted to buy these and just take them up. You know, just own them. You know, and then just resell them next year, but I don't have the bank space for them. Is there a limit? You can store writs in your bank, so I don't believe there's a limit. Yeah, so that's what I would consider. I usually try to find like a nice, juicy gold jewelry, one that's going to give you like 600 writs. You know, something like that's absolutely like astronomically high, and then you could just do one and done essentially. Or try to find like some decent gold ones. Or if you're just doing jewelry crafting, if you're like me and you just have all of the jewelry pieces, Plus, here's the other thing about jewelry that people don't tell you is jewelry does not require you to have a style learned because jewelry doesn't have styles. So if you're like me and you pick up something like this and you might have, this is style imperial, so this is a bad example, but say I didn't have the imperial style, I'd have to feel like a dummy and go and buy the imperial style just to finish my writ, which could be very annoying. So that's the benefit to doing jewelry. I know jewelry gets a lot of smack because jewelry is generally more expensive than the other materials because you can't bought it as easily. So that's where I think that jewelry gets a bad rap. But I personally love jewelry. It's also much easier to learn all the traits for jewelry as well. Ooh. And then you had asked about sorcerer. So I personally, this is just my personal opinion, I build for max magicka when it comes to a sorcerer. You can see that I've got ancient grace front and back bar. I go from Destro Fire to Destro Ice. Doesn't make a whole lot of difference. It just gives you a little bit more difference in some of the abilities that you use. Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Thank you, Steven. I love the Gaze of Sithis. I personally am wearing the Gaze of Sithis right now. I think it's one of the best mythicals that you can wear. You can build in a half a dozen other things like the Marken Ring. You could build in an Oaken Soul, although generally I don't like it. You could build in Death Dealer's Feet. You generally just like things that give you a lot of stats. Like, you want stuff that gives you a lot of magicka and a lot of health. Morning, Jake. How'd that toothpaste sandwich go? Craig, we don't know yet. We haven't gotten confirmation. You see, the better question, Craig, is that what do I get for being right? What if I nailed it on the head? They were like, "Yep, we're gonna call this new class the Illusionist Altercanist," and I'd be like, "Whoa, let's go," or we're gonna call this the Jake Clips class. I am pretty confident in that guess. Can't tell you fully as to why I'm so confident in us getting a class and to me having at least very good theories, as I might get in trouble. But I am very confident. Oh, and then Necropotence. I think Necropotence is a great set. You could switch it out for Crafty Elfique to get yourself a little bit more magicka without having to use a pet. You do get more magicka from wearing Necropotence. That's why I use it, but Crafty is another good backup option. Swarm Mothers, one-piece shoulders. Get yourself some nice mag and stam. There's other options too. You could do something that gives you mag, stam, and health. That's fine also. Necropotence. Then we have another piece of trainee that'll give you a little oomph more of your magicka. And then we have another piece of trainee. And then we have that one necklace. It could be a ring also just to finish off the Ancient Grace. So you get your two from here. This completes that. And then you have two-piece trainee, which will give you your sets. The other option that you could do too is you could drop the mythical and then the monster set and just run something like an actual traditional monster set. Like if you wanted to use something like Balorgs, I don't personally like Balorgs on a Mag Sorc. I think that mythicals are just built in much easier. The other thing you could do too is that you can do trainee head and shoulders, and then you could then run something else. Because trainee, those of you who don't know, can be used on your body. So you could do a whole bunch of combinations with it. You could do like a Marken Ring, which is another mythical, and then like a traditional monster set, or you could do two-piece trainee, but now it's your head and your shoulders. There's so many ways that you could build it. It just really just depends on you. I also personally use a Breton. You could do a high elf, but let's be real. We all played Skyrim. Do we really want to be high elves? If you want to do a little bit more DPS, you could certainly be a high elf. I play as a Breton. I've always played as a Breton every time I've ever played, the majority of games that I've ever played. It gives you more magicka, gives you more spell resist, and it reduces the cost. The Gift of Magnus, though, I really do think that you do want more magicka over more spell damage, because for those of you who might not know, your damage is calculated not just by your weapon and spell damage. It's also calculated by your stamina and your magicka. Any suggestions for someone coming back to the game from before any DLCs? It's a hard question because it really depends on like what type of content you like. Like I would suggest like if you have ESO Plus, like you could do the content in order if you have that, or if you didn't finish some of the storylines, go back, finish those storylines before you start looking at some of the new things. Or honestly, like anytime I get back into a game, I don't know if you guys are like this, but I make a whole ass new character. I'm like, we're gonna get on back here, you know, into this. Imperial is a good shout too, because it also gives you health. I believe Imperials give you health is also very good. It's a very important stat because let me show you why. A lot of people forget that your hardened ward is determined by your total amount of magicka, and it's capped at 60% of your health. So a lot of people who bank sorcerers and then they just give them oogles amounts of spell damage forget that you need at least a little bit of, you know, chunk so that you can not die quickly. And not, what you may not know, this is another Jake Clips hot take, being successful at PvP generally requires you to be alive. Unless you plan on buffing your teammates because they're all necromancers and they're using your dead body to build ultimate, you generally want to be alive. Especially while an event is on, the best time to get back into it. Or start new. It's a good point, Craig. I definitely agree with you there. Double XP too right now. So, Tiger, to answer your question, so Tiger asks, the lead that comes from the Gaze of Sithis, that comes from the Cradle of Shadows, is it a vet drop or is it a normal drop? It is normal. So the developers have also said, by the way, that the drop rates for leads from dungeons is 20%. So every time you kill the boss that you need to kill, it's 20%. Is ESO out on the new Xbox Series X? So I have the Series S, but yes, it is out on that one also. That's actually what we're streaming from our little thing. Oh, sorry, my cat's being very cute. What are you doing? Freaking doofus over here. Oh my gosh. I'm like trying to like move some things around and she's like, let me just grapple your arm and just hold on to your hand. Freaking goober. So cute. You're so cute. I just got the Game Pass version, so no ESO Plus or DLC. And the other thing too is that you do get crowns. You can buy crowns with other players from Gold. So keep that in mind also when, if you're like, hey, you know, I want to try out this DLC, like you can grind and buy from people. Generally, if I get crowns, like through my monthly ESO subscription, I'll either buy dumb shit like this, although, I mean, tell me that this is not dope. I mean, like, come on. Or I'll just sell them to some other player. Cool, hate doing vet shit. I really need to, LOL. I mean, you don't have to do it on vet. You don't have to. Cradle of Shadows can be a really annoying dungeon on veteran. So I mean, you just farm it on normal. You get a 20% chance every time you run it. Unfortunately, 20% is like one of those probabilities where there's like a good chance it'll happen, but there's not like a really good chance it'll happen. So you could run it like 10 times and be like, what the fuck is happening? What you doing there, cat? What are you doing? Figure before I start dropping, buddy, I better make sure I'm sticking to it. That's very fair. The other thing that people don't talk about is, so, say for example, Steven just got ESO Plus. Well, guess what, Steven? You can now go anywhere. What do you do? Where do you go? What should you go do first? What should you do second? I think that's the problem that I think ESO kind of has is when you get ESO Plus, people are like, where the fuck am I supposed to go? Like, what do I do first? Like, what should I do second and third and fourth? And my thing is don't get overwhelmed. Like, yes, there's zones and Daedric realms and all this other stuff. There's a lot. And that's a good thing, but it can also be a bad thing because it can kind of confuse you as to where you're supposed to go, what you should do first. What I would say is like, I personally love specific zones. So for me, like, if I make a new character, I take them to do fun quests. If I'm like, I want some skill points, I'll go do, like, the Hughes Bane main story, or I'll go do, the Fargrave story, which is pretty dope, or, I love the Somerset Zone storyline. The Somerset Zone storyline is the best in the game. But that it really depends on, like, what your flavors are. There's so many, that you could do. I played the first year in Vardenfell. Vardenfell's also, I believe, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, I believe Vardenfell is now a free zone. I believe they gave it to everybody, but I could be wrong, and I don't want to feel like a silly goose. What would that be? Ooh. Sorry, long day. So you can go to Vardenfell for free. Same with the Imperial City. These are 2 former DLC zones that you could just go to. Right now. Somerset is okay. Thank you for the subscription, RFA Gaming. I was so ecstatic. I don't know if I have this. Let me go see if I was so excited when I witnessed the Somerset storyline that I literally took a screenshot because I was so excited. Let me see if I can find this. You guys are going to see the random game clips and things that I have. Hang on, how do I even find these? How do you find your game clips? Am I stupid? Recent captures, show all. Alright. You are about to see how nerdy I was when I first completed it. Where's ESO? Why is ESO not on the top? Apparently, I'm a dummy and don't organize my captures very well. All right. He was very big into saving my Battlegrounds wins. Apparently, as screenshots. All right. Is one of these should be? Oh, look, here I am standing outside Maroon's Dagon's thing. So ecstatic. I was like, look how cool this is. Oh, here, well, so I must not have the Somerset one anymore. But when I was interacting with, I'm sorry, this might be a spoiler. I apologize. I should have said something. But I was so ecstatic to fight Maroon's Dagon that I was just taking screenshots and game recordings. I must have done that for the Somerset one because I'm not seeing it. But unfortunately, I needed space for my console when I started to do YouTube videos, so I started deleting old things at random. Look at this. Look at this fit from 6 years ago. Look at that. What skill bar was I using? Holy Lord. Oh, I was on a Dragon Knight. Look at that. Oh, God. I don't know why I took this screenshot. Must have just been proud, I was like, yep, we're gods. Oh no, I did look. This is from the Somerset storyline. Look, it is the Daedric princes from the Daedra interacting with each other. I was so excited when this happened that I was like, oh my god, everyone needs to go out and play this. I'm I'm so excited. This is so cool. I was just like a little kid in the candy store. This is what I hope that Elder Scrolls 6 is a lot more of this. I know that a lot of people are like, Daedric invasions are so overdone, and that's true, but I think if done right, could still be very cool. Even if it's done as a side quest or like a Daedric relic type quest. It doesn't have to be like a, oh my god, every Daedra is trying to invade the world. Ah. So Steven, that will depend wildly on the console you play on. On Xbox, it's about 125 to 1 crowns to gold. So take 1,500, multiply it by 125, and that's about how much gold it would cost for you to buy it from somebody. Ugh. My throat is just feels icky. Vardenfell was my first zone, and I like the storyline there almost as much as the Somerset one. Almost as much as the Somerset one. Yeah, Vardenfell is really cool too. I mean, it's kind of cool to like, see a whole ass mountain just being hoisted above, a city. Aesthetically, it's just so beautiful. Look at that. Just being held up. Okay, cool. At least I have a gold goal. And that's the nice thing about ESO that I don't think a lot of people talk about, because people say, like, oh, the Crown Store is pay to win, or all the cool stuff's locked in the Crown Store. And I understand 100% when people say that, but I do think that there's a lot of cool things that you can earn in the game. And I try not to, like, tell people how they should feel or not feel about the Crown Store, but I do think that the ability to trade, gold for crowns and, stuff like that makes the game very viable to players who want to just come in and have a bunch of gold so they can throw in a credit card and sell crowns to people. Or if you're like me and you want ESO Plus, but you don't really have a lot you spend your monthly crowns on, so you just sell them to people to kind of help be, helpful to the community. But my goal as a content creator is I like to highlight the cool things that you can earn without the Crown Store too. I think that's important, stuff to highlight also. So that's why I've been working on that series where I go over titles and, achievements that you can do to earn, crazy cool things like mounts and skins and personalities and, quest rewards that give you mounts and skins and personalities and antiquities that give you mounts, skins, personalities, motives, yada, yada, yada. So that's my goal at least. The 250 to 1 on PlayStation. That's interesting. I'm surprised that it's like more than Xbox. Thank you for the follow, UK Gazuk. I feel like I've seen your name before on YouTube. Are you on both of them? Your name seems very familiar. I probably didn't pronounce it in my head correctly when I saw it, if it was on YouTube, so I apologize. I'm actually terrible at pronouncing names. Fun fact, I basically, like, when I record YouTube videos, you guys have definitely noticed this, I just confidently say things more than likely wrong, but I just try to sound so confident in it because I don't want you to feel like, I don't want people to notice that I'm not confident in my pronunciations. Like, if I'm just like, so then you're going to get, 5 stacks of aluminium foil. Some of you would be like, whoa, 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 whoa. What the hell did you just say? But if I was like, so, get yourself a stack of 5 aluminium foil, I try to just blow past it, That way it's like, oh, I try to just like slide past my mispronunciations. Thanks for the great info and videos. Appreciate it. Here's to 10K subs in a great 2023. I appreciate you, James. I am very excited, by the way, too. I haven't even talked about how excited I am to be almost at 10,000 subscribers. For those of you who don't know, I started YouTube pretty much exactly, I want to say, like 2 years ago. Actually, we can go look. We can go take a look here. This is my normal YouTube account. We'll switch over to this one. Look, it's me. So we can actually see, and I did start to unlist a lot of the old videos, but you can also see like a thumbnail drop. I have gone back and I've tried to like update some of the thumbnails. Like, this one I feel like is a better thumbnail. It did not used to look like this. Let's keep looking. This is a lore video I made, by the way. This was actually like the lore of ESO. I should probably redo the thumbnail on this because I feel like it doesn't get enough. I feel like it just looks too like, you know what I mean? Like it just looks a little too eh. But I also feel like I needed to go back and do like a lot of these thumbnails. Like these are the videos that I didn't unlist, and like This was another good example of like, this is a video right here where I also don't know if you can see my cursor. I feel like you guys can't. I feel like a dummy. You guys can't see my cursor, so you have no idea what I'm pointing to. Okay, this one, for example, like some of these quest rewards are awesome, but I feel like the thumbnails are just so outdated, you know? Also, for those of people who watch this video, are like, you rambled for the first 2 minutes before the video gets started, and that was also a common trend back in the day. I try not to do that. Well, I'm sorry, Danny. I'll get there. So we can go back. This is my first ever YouTube video. ESO Gold Guide 2021. It was actually posted in 2022, but in December. But I tried to like sneak it in there, you know. Also, the fact that my second most watched video was like I think this is like what, my 5th video, the ESO All Motive Location Guide, is I still find hilarious. I don't know how I feel about that. Thank you for the subscription, Rox Flores. I don't know if you guys can hear the audio. I'm gonna like play. Do you guys hear this? The ad that's playing right now. Do you guys hear that? Let me know if you guys can hear that, because how I start this is it's a hilarious open. Oh my god, my audio quality sounds so bad. Oh my god. Can you guys hear this, or can you not hear it? I don't know if it plays the audio from my PC through my my actual Streamlabs. I don't even know if I want you guys to hear the audio for this. It sounds so... Oh my god, it sounds so cringe. But, you know, we would hope that after, 2 years we would improve, right? You know, there should be an improvement over 2 years, right? Yeah. Oh god. Oh, it's so embarrassing. But this was the first video. And like, look at this, like no tags. Like the video is like, the title is like 3 words and then a number. It's so bad. Oh my god, it's so bad. And then, oh, you guys even back then were very supportive. And like, oh. Yeah, it was an interesting start. I don't know if you guys can hear it. I literally opened with "Welcome to my first fucking video." Like that's how I opened. Like that was the opening. So you just knew that, from there it was all gonna go downhill. But this was the first ever video. I don't know if it tells me the date. Oh, December 13th, 2022. I will update pinned comment as necessary. What even was my pinned comment? Reply to this comment with what videos you'd like to see. My friends were split between a leveling guide, specific gold making methods, gold motive farming, and other miscellaneous ideas. Just let me know what you want and I will provide. Thanks everyone for supporting my first video on YouTube. This is all where it all started. And you guys are probably like, oh god, it's so cringe. I thought about unlisting this video because, it's not relevant anymore, but like, it's like a relic at this point, Got to do some trials. My brain was having a synapses there. I love my YouTube suggested, by the way. It's like, hey, here's a bunch of Jake Clips videos, because, not to, I possibly watch my own videos. And then it's like a bunch of random like stuff like, here's the 2022 Mustang GT Performance Peak. It's like, why is that suggested? But this was the first one. What became popular from this one, it boggles my mind. I should also probably remake this video too, because Lord only knows the rambling in this video was just, woo! I actually might do that, because I'm... But here's the thing. So like every old video stays in the playlists. So if you're like, I want to go watch your old cringe videos, they're all here. You just like, for example, like I've started to just do like I archive old live streams into like the live stream playlist, just because I don't want people to just constantly be recommended the same live stream. Like it's more helpful if you get recommended a video like, hey, here's how you can do, such and such thing. It's a fine balance. I'm trying to figure it out. I might also redo my like YouTube homepage. Instead of having like the gold method explained, I might put like live streams here or something different instead. It's kind of what I'm thinking. All right, guys, it's been fun. Thanks, Jake. Rock on. Thanks, Danny. Have a good night. Yeah, this is all stuff I'm working on. By the way, also thank you, channel members. You guys are awesome. I'm surprised it also doesn't tell me your guys' names when I hover over. That's odd, but I appreciate you guys. I also feel like I need like a more official about section, like like even my descriptions to videos sometimes feel a little bit tacky. Like for example, we'll click on this video and like I don't know, like a lot of it is just me kind of like pointing to like, other things like, hey, here's ESOU, great resource by the way. Here's the Reddit for ESO. Here's the savings app, which is a great resource. Here's PC sales history, application. So I don't know. I feel like I could have something more, official, something that's more like, like a normal YouTuber type description, something a little fancier. Even sometimes how I have like my pinned comments, sometimes I feel like are a little bit, a little bit not YouTube professional. But at the end of the day, we're not a YouTube professional. We're not trying to be something we're not either, you know what I mean? Like the whole goal is to be, just the ESO content creator who enjoys playing ESO and wants to kind of, connect with you guys and help answer questions that you want to answer. Not trying to be a full-time YouTuber who's living off of YouTube and ad sponsorships and blah 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 blah. Yeah, those things are cool, but at the end of the day, it's what everyone wants to see. It's like it's more of a community thing than it is just like a me and telling you or directing you or whatever. It's like, speaking honestly here, I'll probably get myself potentially in a little bit of trouble. I'm not even a huge fan of like a lot of like I don't like to watch a lot of ESO content just because like I don't know. Sometimes I find it like more fun to make it and to interact with people than it is to just like watch it. I don't know if that makes any type of sense. I actually almost sometimes enjoy making videos more than I enjoy playing the game because it's like, especially when you guys ask me something I don't know, that I'm like, oh my god, I played ESO for 6 years and I don't know the answer to this question. And I go out and I research it, I figure out methods for it, I try to learn about it, so that's where I think you guys have helped a lot. Is it worth committing to being a healer? I am pretty against healing. I'll explain why. Let me just say though, to Jax, 75. Always appreciate your stream. Always engaging and entertaining. I appreciate that. Back to healing though, because I need to think about how I want to word this politically. Like, I think healing is cool, right? But 4-man content like trials, dungeons, blah 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 blah. A lot of times you're gonna almost want to run a DPS as opposed to a healer or some sort of healing DPS hybrid for a lot of 4-man content like skin runs, title runs, personality runs, etc. So I feel as though a lot of times like healers don't really have as much of a purpose there. And so a lot of times then you just the only purpose they have is trials, and that's very specific. And then usually like one healer will have to wear like opposite sets of another healer, so it requires you to have like way more sets than you would need if you were just like a DPS. Tanking kind of runs into that also because you don't want to stack buffs, Because a lot of times that's what the tank and the healers do, is they're more focused on stacking buffs to the DPS versus just doing oogles amounts of healing or oogles amounts of tanking. Oh, sorry guys, my throat is just like so dry. Oh. So I hope that that kind of gives you an answer, but I don't know if that also doesn't give you a great answer. So I hope that helps a little bit. But what else, can I help you guys with before my throat completely kicks out due to feeling like it's filled with dust all of a sudden throughout the rest of the stream? X Smoking Dabs XX. If anyone needs help on Xbox and agrees with you that the game's way better to play than watch, but there's new builds or old content the majority of the public doesn't know. Yeah, I think that's fair. Sorry, I'm like, my brain was just like having a synapses. Evie, what are you doing, little cat? My goodness. Do you want to sit here? Is that where you want to sit? There you go. But you guys now have a very good cat cam for you. That's helpful because I used to main healers in WoW and Sator. I used to love Sator, by the way. I think Sator has one of the best storylines in any MMO ever. What are you doing? What are you doing? You're smacking me with your tail. I think a toothpaste sandwich will make your throat better. I think it'll make something better, but I don't think it'll be my throat. Hey, dude, I'm the goofball standing in front of you in Vivek. Oh. Oh, how's it going? I've just been standing here for so long, I've not been paying attention to my surroundings at all. But, hello. Thank you for the follow, Bruz Wayne. I appreciate you. What are you doing? Looking at me? What are you looking at me like that for? Huh? Little doofus. What are you doing? What to see about the toothpaste sandwich? I wonder, has ZeniMax said anything on when they plan to do their release yet for the next trailer? I don't think that they've released a date yet for their trailer. I could be wrong, though, if anyone knows. ZeniMax has this terrible tendency to, like, not release anything and be like, hey guys, in 2 days we're going to have this trailer. What's up, boss? Just checking on this character. Oh, how's it going, Liberty? Thinking of making another tune? Good idea. Especially if you don't have a specific type of class, I would suggest it. The only class that I just really don't have fun with is Necromancer, but that's also just me, like everyone's different. And so I think that there's a lot of merit into trying out every class, mag and stam. Honestly, even sometimes, just trying out different roles, like tanking can be really fun if you've never done it before. Night, Jake. We're headed to the beach. Good luck, Craig. Enjoy the beach. It is like 5 degrees where I live, so thinking of the beach makes me very jealous. What are you doing? What are you doing? But as we're kind of winding down here, so next week I am off work. So if you have suggestions for videos, I am going to try to almost put maybe not a video every day, but at least the majority of the week, and probably stream every day that I'm not making a video. Same, it's snowy up here in Maine. It snowed a little bit here, but thankfully not as much. last Thursday we got tons of snow, and I was like, what in the world is all this? Yes, so Tiger, that's actually the exact reason I don't like the Necromancer. Because the Necromancers in Skyrim were so much cooler that I'm like, what happened? What happened to all these cool things that we could do? I'm so jealous. Also, this will be the microphone that I use to record all my videos from now on. So a lot of times I used to use either my phone or a mixture of my phone and this mic or and my Xbox mic. So I'm going to be switching completely to this one, which I believe has the best sound quality, although you can definitely correct me if I'm wrong. So hopefully my audio quality is forever decent. It's the best way to put it. I got 100% addicted to tanking, starting as a DPS and switched to just making. It does make also queuing significantly faster, like you were saying. Much better. You are certainly loud. I noticed that. Let me turn this down a pinch. Is this a little bit better? So, my streams used to be very quiet, so I used to boost my audio. So, that's where I'm like trying to find that happy balance of like loud if you want it to be loud, but not like, you know, you jump in the video and your ears are bleeding type loud. I did turn it down a pinch because I had the boost up, so I'm just turning that down just a smidge. That way it's decent. Does this sound a little bit better? I'm trying to like just lower it slightly. I think that should keep it from getting too loud. But also, if you guys want, you know, can hear me, you sound lovely. Hopefully. If there's one thing that drives me insane about YouTube, it's not thumbnails or titles or video ideas. It's freaking audio quality. Audio quality is like requires basically a master's degree to be good at. So I don't quite understand like how like video editing I thought would be like the beast, you know? And I am like, where who teaches about sound quality? It's so crazy. Like I wish I could show you my Streamlabs like UI. Unfortunately, because it's Streamlabs itself, I can't show that UI, but the amount of audio options are like ridiculous. There's pages of options. Sometimes I turn you up to hear you and then I get blasted by the damn commercials. I'm sorry, Neilster. The majority of the group play NA servers or EU. I play NA. I believe the majority of people watching right now are probably NA due to time zones, but sometimes when I stream on the weekends, we get more EU people just depending on the time. Steven says, any suggestions on how to make gold easily? That is going to depend a lot on what are you max level 160? Do you have DLCs? And are you in a guild trader? Are they? I'm sorry, Arcanism. Are they what? What are you doing? What's that for? You just standing up to look at me? It is pub bar turning out time in EU. I guess that depends too. The majority of my audience, I believe, is North American. So it's hard to say, you know, who specifically is more. I was just thinking it's after work hours right now in NA time, like on a work day. So this is usually when people hop on, you know, to commit crimes and whatnot. Act a fool on ESO. This is a pretty good angle, by the way, to see the cat. She's being, you know, herself. If you've never heard the story about how I got a cat, it's wild. It all started when a grandmother tried to murder her grandchild, and I ended up with a cat. Just 12 hours later. It's a story you can tell your kids at night. Oh, it's a cat. Yeah, it is a cat. I've also never been a cat person my whole life. I mean, I've like acknowledged cats. I'm like, hey, that's a cat. This is the first cat that I've ever like had in my house. She's very nice. You can see. I mean, she's sitting on my leg. Very Wait, what? Says Maddie. Yeah. Yeah. I like thought so I probably will make a second YouTube channel just to describe the story about how I got a cat because I know that if I put it on this channel, I'll get demonetized. When the story starts with murder, it doesn't get better. It doesn't like improve really at all. So that's kind of the problem. I highly recommend the Lion's Den and the Rift for Gold at Bud Light. Yeah, I mean, the Lion's Den for gold grinding can be good. No DSC, and I have a 139. You're level 139, Steven? Is that what you meant by 139? And not a dog, or I'm a dog person, says Hatcher I'm sorry, I don't know how to say your name. Acheronalism. A Acheron Slim? Sorry, my brain is starting to become fried. I'm a dog person. Last cat I had was dumped on me and had a litter box. Ugh. I actually have an electronic litter box, so like I just actually change it. It like scoops it into like a little disposable tray that you just throw away. Acheron Slim. Acheron Slim? Is that correct? Another really good place that you can look at, Steven, if you're looking for straight gold, this is just straight gold, is if you go to, where's Reaper's March? You can go to the Vile Manse. I have a video on this. The top level of the Vile Manse is filled with Imperials, and they give you nothing but gold when you kill them. But honestly, truthfully, you generally want to get into some level of guild trading to make most gold. Like, to make gold in a not painful process, you're going to want to start to get into guild trading. So that would be my suggestion. And then you could look at selling, like, Nurn Cruxes. So anytime you pick up a raw material in Craglorn, you have the ability to get a Nurn Crux. So you could start selling those. You could start refining materials to sell gold materials. You could even sell raw materials because people buy raw materials. I think that there's definitely a huge market for those things. So that's probably going to be easier for you. I don't know if it's as popular as it used to be. The Bear Farm. The Bear Farm is a great place. The Bear Farm is pretty much all but dead, unfortunately, on console. I will show you guys the Bear Farm. It makes me sad to just look at it. I used the Vile Manse for a time due to you, Jake. I hope that's good. Hope it's not like, hey, Jake, you sent me the wrong place, you dum-dum. I'm like, I'm sorry, Tiger. Let's take a look at the Bear Farm. The Bear Farm used to be the Bee's Knees. We're in Bankrai, by the way, which is over here in the Daggerfall Covenant area. And this place used to be hot. There used to be like a stack of people. Right where this guy's standing, there used to be like 20 people. And you could just sit here. One person would go around and kill all these bears. Every so often you would go and you would pick up the bear, pelt. And it was awesome. It was perfect. Down to every last detail. Or what does Thanos then say? He's like, is this your home? It was, and it was beautiful. I used to sit here during the workday when I worked remote. I would just sit my happy ass here like a dummy, just like racking up ESO raw scraps and stuff to sell. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. I used to be one of the top leaders of the bear farmer in Bankrai. Does the console you play on, Maddie, still do they still do the bear farm? It seems unfortunately all but dead here. That was good before I got a higher level. That is true. It's like a lot of people will ask me for gold guides on like, hey, you know, if I'm low level or don't have DLCs, you know, what should I do? So it's tricky because once you get to a high level, you really don't want to be doing that type of thing anymore. Also, Maddie is 100% correct. If you need torch bugs, stuff like, do you just see all of this? What a chest! Look at all this. Just look at all these bad mamajamas. Bad mamajamas. It's sad. It's truly sad. What console or server was this on, Maddie? Is it on Xbox NA? Oh, do you guys like? I have this little. I packed the thing from a little crown crate, and look, I have the little hawk that picks up the little stuff for me. It doesn't do it for the torch bugs though, sadly. Also, if you do the quest here, by the way, the bears aren't aggressive to you, which some people like and some people hate. Oh, the OG lazy. Oh, yeah, on Xbox NA. I love this, by the way. Not the butterfly. Get out of here, butterfly. Look at this. Whoa! Just a little hawk. Just picks it up, takes it away. Being good. You comfy like this? It's like he's like holding on for dear life, and she's like, I'm going to sit here. You're not going to stop me. And she's just smacking me with her tail. Freaking dweeb. The Tiger Farm by Riston is solid. Just yeah, for waxes and stuff. Waxes are also great to sell if you have like your own trader, but again, it's something you can sell as a raw material also too. So I mean, it is a give and a take on what is the best way to do it. Do you guys have, so as we're wrapping up here, do you guys have video suggestion ideas for next week? You know, things that I should cover as, you know, next week in video format, even if it's just a quick, you know, 60-second, like, hey, you know, here's the best place to go do X, Y, and Z. Thank you, by the way, for the follow, Winge TV. As we're winding down, I'm sure my cat wants me to play with her. What are you doing? Good? You alright? You're embarrassing me in front of my friends. This is what's like owning a cat. I just sit on you and tell you how you're supposed to feel. She's like, you're supposed to want me to be here. I'm choosing you right now. I'll have to make my way there and check it out. Vile Mance is another good spot. If you do get the DLCs and you're looking for some like easy gold to get before you have like 160, scrying is another really easy gold making method. But not to flex, Steven, but you know, if you need some good, you know, what's it called here? You know, if you're looking for some good gold methods, there's this guy, he's got all bunches of them. Look at this. How many videos do I have in this playlist? A lot. I don't know why I have the golden vendor in here. We got highest paying side quests. We have videos, best DLC zones to farm, best base game zones to farm, base gold making dungeon farms for profit. Item flipping, how to make your first million gold. Fishing is another really great one. Also, crime can be a really cool one to kind of go over too. So all of that I would suggest, like, you know, like, hey, you know, consider looking at that type of stuff. I think it's all really good. A real life look into Tales of Tribute and how it's changed your life. I wonder who that would be. I don't know. Maybe just play that playlist when you're, falling asleep at night with your headphones in. I should make a video, Neil, sir, that's like how Tales of Tribute saved me, and make like a little bit of a parody video. Be like, I was lost and afraid, crying every night until I found purpose in this world, and that purpose came through the Elder Scrolls card game, Tales of Tribute. I will warn you, Steven, that as the thumbnails like start to look a little more janky, these are older videos, so bear in mind with me. But I cannot believe I made a 39-minute AP video. I can't believe I made this. I literally died halfway through. I'm pretty sure I died hang on, we'll get to the video. I'm pretty sure I died halfway through this. And this is fun fact. This is before I really was good at how to cut video around things. So I just kind of went with it, Or did I die, or did I just get in a long conflict? No, maybe I just got in a long conflict. Maybe I didn't die, because I do end up taking it and then selling it. Oh. Just think, a year ago, I didn't even really know how to cut video very well. So, I was just... oh, yeah, I'm fighting this guy again. Look at that. Bam. Your boy is getting him done. Oh, it's so embarrassing. We got an Inferno staff of Elfbane, though, on stream or on video. I mean, that's pretty good, And it's a 100k item. Look at this. See, I even have the spreadsheet up next to it. Oh god, I was so new back then. That's what I'm looking for. Kind of like how I am with streaming. I don't know how to stream really. I just kind of hop on here and just start yakking to you guys. So I don't really have a formula for this. I just kind of, come on in here and start chit-chatting. And then I bring a cat and put her on my leg so you guys can see her and I can win some of you over. I chase my 3 around most of the time, but thankfully I can watch videos, so that's good. Hopefully they don't run too fast. But anything else that we can talk about, that I can help with, video suggestions, ideas, anything that you guys are thinking, I'm very excited to be recording all my videos on this bad boy right here. I think it'll help with the audio quality. I also am still learning how to edit and get better at that, so I appreciate those of you who've stuck around as I've made videos. I mean, can you imagine, imagine watching a Jake Clips video from 2 years ago and being like, this guy fucking sucks. And then just being like, I ain't listening to this anymore. I appreciate those of you who've stuck by, watched these videos, and given tips and suggestions. You've helped more than you guys could ever know. And those of you who are new, you guys helped too by continuing the trajectory forward and bringing this channel into 2023 with such excitement for the updates for 2023. Super excited for Q2 and Q4 of next year. Super excited to see the servers get updated, bug fixes. I was just very excited for everything. Cooking Koala says Jake has a face. Yes, I do have a face. And I have a cat right here. Some dungeon lore videos would be cool. Top 5 stories. That'd be interesting, yeah. I am working on a lore video for the actual lore of the New Life event because it was requested by the channel members, so I'm working on that. Do you have a video on the trees for the extra levels? I can't think of what it's called. On the trees for extra levels. I am drawing... Do you mean the champion point skill tree? Are you talking about the This? Is this what you're referring to? Am I the only one that hates the quest in dungeons? I don't hate the quests that are in dungeons. Sometimes I just hate that like you can complete the dungeon without going through what the quest would have you go through. That's what I hate. What was that? What are you doing? Yeah, that. I don't know if I have a specific video on this. I could certainly make one, like even if it's just a YouTube short. I'm trying to get into YouTube shorts because I have 0 YouTube shorts. Like physically, literally, 0. Where even are shorts? There's not even an option here to look at them because I don't have any. You can see, look, I'm live. Ah, woo, whoopee. I don't do words sometimes. Listen, I'm right there with you. I don't do words a lot of time too. I think that they're going to put in there that it should be solo only. Good point. Or at least just make it to where it's like, hey, kill the final boss, and then I'll chit chat with you afterwards. You know, maybe something a little simpler. I always hate when it's like, hey, go into this room that you don't have to actually go into if you're not completing the mission. You know, so I always hated that. Like, you could skip the quest to complete the dungeon. It never made any sense to me. Or you could do it with like a lot of MMOs do, which is where it's like the quest is the dungeon. By completing the quest, you complete the dungeon. But I don't know if people would like that. But I think they should be more tied together in some capacity that kind of makes people happy. But any other suggestions or anything? And obviously, if the stream cuts out or my cat jumps on the keyboard and turns off my computer, you always can put in the comments below suggestions for ideas. Dungeons questing for story would be fine if you could do it solo, but then if you wanted set gear, go for 4-man. It's true. Yeah, create the shorts through the YouTube channel on your phone, on a phone. Yeah, like what a lot of you guys don't know is that about 99% of my videos have been made on this bad boy right here with my YouTube emblem. And I'm actually watching Twitch chat on it because I have my computer monitoring YouTube chat and then this phone monitoring Twitch chat because, fun fact, there's like a huge delay before it comes through Streamlabs, and I don't want you guys to be like, hey Jake, I have this amazing question, and it takes like 10 minutes for me to be able to like answer your question. So I always try to be cognizant of that and try to be as receptive as I can to you guys. Thanks for the stream night. Good night, everyone. Have a good night, James. Thanks for stopping by. Well, what's my cat doing? Oh, my cat's going back down again. She's going to go for in their zoomies. In case I don't catch the outro from the stream, excellent content as always, homie. Enjoy the streams and videos. I appreciate you too, Michael. I always like to see you in the comments. You're always very helpful and insightful. I think I screwed up on my points on my ward. I don't want to go back on my high level till I had a clue what I was doing. The very good thing, Steven, if I could teach you nothing, is that any changes you made can be undone, retweaked, or redone at any point. You can actually completely respec yourself for free. So if I teach you nothing, there's 0 ways that you can permanently screw over a character. You can change the race. Granted, you have to pay for crowns for that, but you can change skill points, attribute points, champion points very easily. So please don't worry about that. What will happen if I buy the High Owl chapter collection if I already have the base game? We'll just add it to my profile. So yes, it will add the actual chapter. So if you go like we're to your collections, I believe it's stories, chapters. You would then get the High Isle chapter. You will see, though, this confuses a lot of people. there are multiple chapters. However, when a chapter is no longer the main chapter in ESO, it then becomes a zone DLC, which then gets encompassed into ESO Plus. If that makes sense. So this point confuses a lot of people. By the way, Imperial City and Morrowind are both free now. But what I would say is that if you're getting a chapter, get the newest chapter, obviously, because the rest of them will all go into ESO Plus. But yes, it does add it to your profile to answer your question. That sounds like a challenge, good sir. You would be hard pressed to screw up a character. I've screwed up some characters. Trust me. How or where did you get your pot hat? So the pot hat actually comes from the Cadwell's Gold achievement. All you have to do is you have to complete every base game zone storyline. So I believe Cadwell's Almanac, you just have to do all of these quests. And it's the main story quests from, the major areas. Got it, thanks bro. Anytime, Nuke. How about my DKDD and we can make shorts of us getting 4 or 10 kills apiece in BGs or Imperial? We certainly could. I don't usually do PvP type content for videos. I always sometimes feel like sometimes I prefer when I do like a build video, I want more of the focus to be on like how you guys can tweak builds to yourself. I sometimes think this a little bit tacky when people are like, here's the best PvP build ever. And then they show footage. But like, who knows if that was the set they were wearing or how many times they got shafted when they weren't recording or how much footage they cut where they were getting the, dick down. Maybe that's just me thinking too much into it. But as a content creator, you really start to think about these things where you're like, you really need like a couple good game clips, and you could really sell almost any build, but maybe that's just me. But I have made some PvP videos, and I would definitely be down to play with you guys. That's my roundabout way of saying that. Well, you just gave me something else to do before I get ESO Plus. So that's the goal, obviously, too. I want you guys to be able to have ideas and, spark ideas and things for you guys to do. I believe if you also want to do every base game like side quest, you get the Tamriel's Hero title. So if you get all of the Adventurers, which is the unique quest completion from all of the base game zones, you get the Tamriel Hero achievement, which makes you a hero of Tamriel. But, dear friends, unfortunately my throat is dying, and I must take leave. So, I am going to leave you with this piece of wisdom, and that is that if you go to Giant Eagle, if your area has that grocery store, every Wednesday their sushi is half off. If you don't have a Giant near you, or you have no idea what store I'm even talking about, unfortunately I have no wisdom for you. Besides, keep on keeping on. And obviously, if you guys have questions, comments, suggestions for future content in the future, please put them in the comments below. Because like I said, I have all the way up until January, whatever the Monday is after the 7th. I think it's like the 9th or the 10th off. So, make a lot of videos. Best thing is when you find out your own meta build, write it down so you can change it up. You can just swap back for your last build if needed. True. Same with PvP especially. After exclusively playing single-player RPG games, my brain can't allow me to spend money on a monthly subscription for an online game only. Fair, but you could remember if you're grinding a lot of gold, just buy the DLCs from another player too. Have a good night, everyone. Hope to see you again next time. I hope to see you again also too. The next stream will likely be on Thursday. We'll probably make a video tomorrow and then go back to streaming on Thursday. But I will actually probably set up a calendar event again, like I did for this one, to give you guys a little bit of warning. We'll see you later, Jake. See you later, Dabaduck. 07 says, Winged Doge 07. I don't actually know what '07 means, and I don't know if I should ask because I'll probably feel very old. Yeah, that's up. You get a limited craft bag of bonus XP and all the newest DLCs for all you have it. That's true. That's why I suggested is if you want to play the game and find out which DLCs you want to buy or want to own permanently, it's a great way to do that without doing anything else. '07 means salute. Oh, it's a salute. That makes sense. I see it. Thank you for the follow, Oliver2888. I appreciate you. That's the rule for beating base game. Only 0.5% of players have that helm. I got it. Cough, cough. You gotta wear it. Gotta wear it around. I should do a photo op with everyone that has the Cadwell's Gold Salute '07. A salute. It's very old. Apparently, I missed it. It took me a long time to know like what the poggers meant or what that meant, and I had seen that emote for such a long time, and I was like, "What's going on with that?" I'm not used to Twitch or streaming or content creating, so it's still all very new. But I appreciate you guys steering me through it as we go. For sure, it's not a main video. Sounds good. But you guys have got me on a tangent again. I feel like a supervillain that just goes on these long rants before freaking they get pushed off a cliff or something. Or they give the freaking main character like 10 minutes to get back into the movie after they've been like knocked down. Space Game reference '07. But alrighty, everyone. We've gone on enough of a evil villain tangent. I probably will start wearing a cape here soon if I continue and get sucked into a fighter jet like in the Incredibles movie. So I will see you guys later. If you have suggestions of anything I've said so far, please put it in the comments below. And I will see you guys again on stream on Thursday via a video tomorrow. And always, always, always in the comments and Discord and Xbox and however